My name is Falungom. I'm a professor of anthropology at Boston University. And my research focuses on the interactions between African languages and non-African languages. I am very interested in non-Europhone sources of African knowledge recorded in classical Arabic, but also in Ajami, which means African languages written with enriched forms of the Arabic script, in the same way the Roman script has been adapted to write different European languages. So that's my area. And these sources have been ignored and overlooked for centuries because of the assumption that we inherited from colonization that defines literacy as the ability to read and write only in European languages, when these people have been reading and writing at least for 900 years before the colonial encounter. So I am very interested in those documents that continue to be produced, and some of them have been produced in the diaspora, including in America and other parts of the Americas, including Brazil and the Caribbean. Yeah, so I think that there was a fear initially that technology in general was going to homogenize the world, make the world become American. But actually, we've learned that actually technology is actually helping to preserve some of these important, precious archives. For example, without technology, I was not going to be able to preserve hundreds, thousands of documents. It's with digital tools, cameras like this one, that I was able to build a library that is called African Ajami Library that has now over 30,000 pages of African Ajami text in 11 languages. And we just finished an even larger project, digitizing over 50,000 pages of classical Arabic text and Ajami text from Senegal and Fouta Djallon, from the 18 produced by scholars from the 18th century to the 21st century. Without digital technology and digital humanities, we're not going to be able not only to preserve them, but to make them accessible to scholars, students, and the public at large. Okay? So I think that digital technology offers us a unique opportunity to make available to a broader audience sources that would not have been possibly accessed, by the public, scholars worldwide. And in that way, I think it's really a great opportunity to preserve, but also disseminate sources of knowledge from Africans themselves, and to hear voices that have never been heard before. Some of these documents are so interesting, man. They deal with everything. I found documents that deal with history, local history, before the arrival of Europeans. I found documents that deal with family genealogies. I found documents that deal with astrology. I found documents that deal with farming and agriculture. I found documents dealing with mathematics. I found documents dealing with geography. I found that they were reading even pre-Islamic text. And these are people who have been regarded as illiterate. And they write in 2 languages or more. So they write in Arabic, not modern standard Arabic. They write in classical, what we call classical Warsh. And the Warsh script is different from modern standard Arabic, Fusha. They write in that one if they want to communicate to a broader audience. But if they want to communicate to their local audiences, they write in the local vernacular. So these are multiliterate scholars. Yet, statistically, there is zero in the official definitions of literacy. Because the official definition of literacy that emerged as a result of the colonial encounter has erased them. Yet, their sources are there. And I think that's why it's so important to use the tools that are available to us now, to bring those sources in conversation, with Europhone sources. There are really challenges with regard to expertise, local expertise in this area. Clearly, depending on the digital presence, availability of internet in different African countries, access to these resources locally varies. For example, Senegal has a very good accessibility to the internet, making it, for example, possible for our sources that we put online to be accessed by local scholars and the public and local families, which is not the case, for example, in northern Guinea, where the internet is not as stable as it is. Okay, so these are some challenges that we face. Okay, the other one is also related to local training. As you know, technology evolves very quickly, and many locals do not have the training required to preserve their own text, and therefore that's why in all my projects I include local team members. Creating conditions for transfer of expertise, and we donate equipment that we purchase for all the projects I run. So I always build in the projects workshops to train local staff, and anyone who is actually interested. And then when we were done with the project, we not only give them a copy of the archives, but we also leave there the equipment so they can continue to preserve the other documents we were not able to preserve. That's just one way for me to help address the digital gap, which is a challenge, but we see what happens. We hope that the new generation clearly has access to digital technologies through Facebook and other. We're just laying the foundation. We hope they will continue to work when we're gone, because the documents we've collected, we can't study them in our lifetime. I can't. One page of an Ajami text that's complex takes a multidisciplinary approach to read. Because you need to know if it's Warsh, and it's Ajami, Pular. You need to know both the Warsh and the Pular. You need to know the context if it's talking about historical agents or historical events. So you need to know ethnography. You need to know history. And these are sources of knowledge that challenge in many ways, narratives about Africa. And I think that they complement and enrich what we call in the United States the African library. There's been discussions of what is the African library. Until recently, the African library was believed to be only oral. And beside oral sources, the belief was that sources of African knowledge had to be found in European languages, colonial. So these sources complement and complicate those stories, providing new insights to generations of scholars